have a question for all of the truck owners out there. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RamBox FST. And that's right, I have a question for all the truck owners out there. Whether you're new, whether you're a subscriber to the channel, or maybe you're just stopping by and happen to come across this video. By the way, if you haven't, make sure while you're here, like right now, you smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. So what is this big question? Well, it's really pretty simple. I want to know what you think the best full-size truck is that's available right now out in the world. Now, it could be a new one, it could be an older one. I'm very curious to know what you guys think, and I'm going to give you my opinions on it as well. But real quick, before you continue on through the video, so that you don't get tainted by my commentary, I guess, leave the comment and let me know what you think the best full-size truck is out there, new or used. So let's talk about it. You know, I've had 3 or 4 different brand full-size trucks. I had a Chevy. Well, I didn't actually have it. I drove a Chevy back when I was in high school. My parents bought a used long bed single cab Chevy, and I drove that thing back and forth to high school. This was in my junior year, I think it was. Might have been my senior year. But either way, I didn't really care much what it was because, frankly, just having a vehicle to drive was awesome. But now, years later, after I've had my own trucks, I kind of think back. And I'm going to start with that Chevy long bed. And it was probably a 1970-something. I'm guessing it was a 1970-something, early 70s probably. Never had any issues with that truck. It was awesome. No problems. Always got me where I wanted to go. Had a lot of fun in that truck. One thing I do want to mention about that truck, it did have dual gas tanks. There was a little toggle switch down underneath the dash. You could flip to the other tank. It was a long time before my dad figured out that it had those tanks, so I was able to burn gas going both ways and not have to spend as much money on it. I did love that. So then later on, when I got older and started spending my own money on stuff, big boy toys, I bought my first full-size truck, and that was, I believe it was a Ram Rebel. At that time, it was a Dodge Ram Rebel. That too was an awesome truck. I really did like it, particularly the tech that was inside it, the design of it on the outside. And I've always thought, and I still do, that Ram really does have the best looking full-size truck on the market. Now, as far as being the best, I can't say it was the best because it had a couple of quality issues. One was just some exterior things didn't fit right, or a crack across the top plate on the bed back there, the tailgate. It had a crack in the corner. They replaced that. Some of the molding around the fenders, you know, the flares, those started to come off. You could see the adhesive down there. And then I had the infamous Mopar black screen. But it was more than that. I also had a black gauge cluster, I guess. And that's because it was all digital in that truck. Well, that's kind of a drag when you're trying to see how fast you're going or how much gas you have. Fortunately for me, it didn't last long. As soon as I turned the truck off and turned it back on, that went away. It was almost like the truck was resetting. Kind of strange. So for those reasons, I wouldn't say that Ram Rebel was the best truck out there. So let's move forward. I bought a Ford F-150 a little bit later on, and I had transmission issues with it. You know, when I would go from reverse to forward, there was a lurch, like it would jump forward. It was very strange. Ford was never able to do anything with it. I think in the end, they just considered it to be inherent to the truck. Didn't help me out at all. So, for some crazy reason, I decided to buy another Ford F-150. It was even the same year, different trim level. but it did the same thing. So I'm convinced that Ford for that year, it was in the early 2000s, I believe, had some sort of an issue, some kind of a transmission glitch or problem. I don't know. Maybe it was just inherent, but that doesn't make it right. So let's fast forward a little further. I bought I can't remember, it was probably late 2018, late in the year, Toyota Tundra. It was a Crew Max, it was the Limited, it was a quad cab or double cab. I guess it was the double cab. Love that truck. That truck was awesome. Never had any issues with it at all. Got me from Ohio and then back to, from Ohio to Texas and then back to Ohio with no problems, running sometimes as high as 95 mile an hour down the freeway. The only real problem with it, which I don't consider to be a problem at all, was the fuel economy. It only got up to, I can't recall it. It only got up to, the only thing I would say that was wrong with it, that I really can't say was wrong with it, was the fuel economy. It was horrible, especially running those speeds. I think it got up to something like maybe 18, something like that if I was lucky. But that's it. Otherwise, there were no issues. So down the road, I traded that in eventually and got another truck, and it was another Toyota Tundra. It was the quad cab, or I guess it was the double cab. That's what I think Toyota calls it. I forget now. But it was the double cab. It had the shorter doors on the sides. This was the smaller V8. It wasn't the Hemi. It was the 4.6, I think it is. It was fine, but it was a bit underpowered. I could tell that when I would get on the freeway, when you're speeding up on the entrance ramp. Just needed a little more oomph to it, especially comparing it to the 5.7 Hemi that I had, or the 5.7 rather, that I had in my previous Tundra. So I got another Tundra after that. It was back to the Crew Max, the 4-door, the bigger cab. And of course, Toyota doesn't change much very frequently, so it was really the same as the original one that I had, and it was awesome. Again, no real problems, no issues, nothing I can even think of off the top of my head, except for one. I will say, and maybe it's because it sat outside in the Texas sun, in the heat, the covers over the speakers in the front started to warp a little bit. That plastic kind of started to come up. You could see a lip on it. That wasn't good. That's probably a testament to the type of material they used. They should have used something, I guess, a little bit more heat resistant. So now let's talk about my current truck. It is a 2022 Ram 1500. This is the Big Horn, I believe. Actually, I think it's the Big Horn Lone Star, they call it. All these names they come up with. But so far, I haven't had any issues with this truck. It's been spot on. It's been awesome. Love driving the truck. Love the power of the truck, the comfort of the truck. Now, in all fairness, I don't have a ton of miles on this truck just yet. So, yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. It's got 389 miles, approaching 500. So we shall see how it turns out. But so far, if I'm looking at the past, I would have to give it a tie. I would give it a tie between the Tundras that I had, except for the one that had the warping plastic, because that is an issue, the other ones, and this truck, because I haven't had any issues with any of them, and I'm very happy with it. So again, that's my story. The Tundras and the Ram 1500 I would put is equal as the best full-size trucks out there, at least that I've ever had. Again, leave a comment. Let me know, through your experience, which are the best full-size trucks that you've had. I'd be curious to know. Also, if you did in the beginning, make sure you smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about my 2021 Toyota Tacoma, and Rob Motive JT, all about my 2020 Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye. Also, real quick, if you didn't in the beginning, make sure you smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about my 2021 Toyota Tacoma.